How's it going, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my NFL playoff predictions. I know I did one preseason, but I mean that's out of the water. Now that the matchups have been set, and I'm gonna do individual analysis videos for each one of these wild cards coming up. But before the playoffs actually get started and the game is played, I'm gonna go ahead and go throughout my bracket and say who I believe is gonna go through and win what game. And like I said, I'm gonna be doing separate videos for each game that goes on. So I'm not going to do analysis in this video really, as those will be coming in the future. I'm actually going to go ahead and record the wild card ones right after this. But like I said, I'm just going to be doing the bracket for this one and just saying who I have. And I have this kind of complicated, so bear with me here if I can't kind of read over what I have. But in the first matchup, we have the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. These teams played today. We're playing again next week. The only difference is today was in Minnesota in the Dome. Next week's at Lambeau Field. And I believe home field advantage was a big reason the Vikings won this game. I mean, Christian Ponder had a big game. And I mean, and he's not been playing well this season. And he had a big game on play action passes. Everybody was ready to stop Adrian Peterson because of the record. And then he just bombed on the field for a few play actions and played a really good game. But I don't think that's going to be the case next week. No record involved. Packers win this game 34-31. And they move on to the divisional round. And then the other wild card game in the NFC. This is starting with the NFC, by the way. I have the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Redskins. Seattle Seahawks, I believe, is the hottest team in the NFL. You can make a case for either the Denver Broncos or the Seattle Seahawks. Very fun game to watch. Two rookie quarterbacks going at it. Seattle's undefeated at home, unbeatable at home, but they got to play this game away. Washington's so hard to beat at home, and they played very great down the stretch. I mean, they haven't lost a game in about 18 years, but I think when it comes down to it, I don't think Washington has the defense to stop Russell Wilson and company, and I think Seattle will stop Robert Griffin and the Redskins a few too many times. And the Redskins can stop Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. I mean, it is going to be hard playing in Washington, but I'm going Seattle 27, Washington 24, and a nail-biter. And this moves us into the NFC divisional round. With that being the case, I have the Packers at the 49ers, and then you have the Seahawks at Atlanta. And I think it'll be a very fun game with San Francisco and the 49ers. I mean, they've played once before. 49ers got the best of the Packers before, and I believe they'll do so again. I do think the 49ers can beat Green Bay once again, and I'm, like I said, 24-21. I'm going San Francisco over 49ers. I think defense wins. I mean, it's going to be tough for a quarterback like Colin Kaepernick going into the playoffs. I mean, but they'll have the bye. Packers have been struggling a little bit as of late. I mean, they'll have the hot hand if they win week one. I mean, teams that play in the week one are usually hot going into the next game, and they win a lot of the time. But I think playing at home, running the ball, I think they'll have success running the ball against Green Bay. Green Bay kind of suspect against the run. Frank Gore will have a big game. I think Colin Kaepernick will as well. And I'm going with San Francisco 24, Packers 21. I mean, so cliche. I'm picking the 2 seed, right? And then moving on, Seahawks and Atlanta. I love more than anything for Russell Wilson to make a Super Bowl. I mean, all the negative comments going into the preseason, a quarterback 5'11" can't make the Super Bowl, can't be a good NFL starter. He's not even 5'11", he's 5'10". I'm probably taller than Russell Wilson, and I'm pretty short. But anyways, I love more than anything, but I think this is where the Seahawks run will end. I think playing in Atlanta, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Michael Turner, Roddy White, it's just too much for Seattle. I mean, their ends have to run, their streaks have to end somewhere, and I think this is where it ends. I mean, they've had a beautiful run, playing great defense, insane offense, just creating so many turnovers, but Matt Ryan don't turn the ball over that much. So that being the case, I have Atlanta winning 27-21 over the Seahawks in the divisional round. I mean, look at me, I'm so cliche, I'm such a genius, right? I'm picking the 1 and 2 seed. I just don't see any other way that teams can beat the 1 and 2 seeds. Like I said, it's so cliche, but I mean, I can't help. That's what I believe. And so this moves us to the NFC Championship game, Falcons and 49ers. So this game would be, I believe, in Atlanta if this was the case. But when it comes down to it, I love defense. I think defense is what wins championships. And the 49ers have a better defense than the Falcons. They can run the ball. The Falcons aren't as effective as the 49ers running the ball. And I believe, man, when I go back and think about it, it's kind of hard. I'm sticking with my Falcons prediction, but I think out of the predictions I've said so far, the NFC, what I'm most unsure about is the Falcons-Seattle game. I mean, Seattle's so hot, but I mean, they just can like that easily lose to the Falcons, so I have them losing to the Falcons. But NFC Championship game, Falcons, 49ers. Like I said, defense I love. I think Frank Gore can have a lot of success running the ball against Atlanta. Colin Kaepernick can make some plays with his feet. Also throw very well. I believe he and the running game of the 49ers with good defense can beat Matt Ryan and the Falcons. I'm going 27-21 49ers. The 49ers advancing to the Super Bowl against to be announced. So that was the NFC bracket. Got the 49ers coming out of that. And then, so 49ers was the 2 seed. And then you go into the AFC bracket. You got the first game coming up this Saturday, the Bengals and the Texans. I mean, it's not talked about too much, but the Bengals have been one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I know I've said it before, either the Broncos or Seattle's been the hottest team, but I think the Bengals are right up there in the discussion. Maybe not as hot as the Broncos or the Seattle Seahawks. But if you go back, they've only lost one of the games in the last 8. I'm not sure the exact stat, but they've been playing very well, very good football in the last few months. They kind of struggled early on, but they've been playing very, very good football. Then you have the Houston Texans, who played very good early on, but have kind of hit a rough streak. They've lost 2 out of the last 3 of the last 4. Aaron Foster's been struggling, been kind of banged up. Did have a pretty good game today, had 96 yards rushing, but I mean, they're not executing in every phase of the game. Defense is suspect, and I think the young youth team of the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton, AJ Green, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Ray Maluga, go on and on and on. I think they're ready to move on in the playoffs. They didn't do that last year. I think this is the year they keep their hot hand, and they beat the Houston Texans in Houston 24-21 in a very close game. I believe in them. I believe they can get it done. So I'm going Cincinnati over the Houston Texans. Next wildcard game in the AFC, you got the Indianapolis Colts and Baltimore Ravens. I don't think Andrew Luck is a great quarterback, but I don't think him alone can beat the Ravens. I mean, they have young youth all around them. Decent defense, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Ravens. I mean, Andrew Luck could possibly single-handedly beat the Ravens, but I mean, he's pretty inconsistent. He doesn't turn the ball over too much, but he doesn't make enough plays alone to beat a team like the Ravens. Joe Flacco will be ready to play, I believe so, against a defense like the Colts. Ray Rice will have a big game. Torrey Smith, Anquan Bolden, that defense is going to be ready to stop Andrew Luck. They're going to single-handedly stop Andrew Luck. And I'm going Baltimore 31-20 over the Ravens. Baltimore 31-20 over the Colts, and this is my biggest blowout in any of the games I predicted. So I'm fairly confident in this pick. So I have Baltimore and Cincinnati moving on to the divisional rounds, and if that being the case, the Bengals would play the Denver Broncos, and the Ravens would play the New England Patriots. And of course, in the first game, Bengals at Denver. I mean, Denver. I know I've said. You've already heard me say Denver being one of the most hottest teams in the NFL. They haven't lost a game since week 4 or 5. Peyton Manning's having an MVP type season, and he's not going to be stopped with the Cincinnati Bengals. I know. I'd love to see a team like the Bengals go on as far as they can go, but not enough. I mean, they have youth. They're young. They're fast, but they don't have enough experience to play a team led by Peyton Manning and to beat them at home. And with Denver being the 1 seed, just a great team, very good defense. Finally got a quarterback that can move the offense effectively and efficiently. So Denver 27-21 over the Cincinnati Bengals in a close game. People, if this is the case, wouldn't believe that to be so close, but going with a 6-point victory for the Broncos over the Bengals. Denver moving on to the AFC Championship game. And then you got the Ravens against the New England Patriots. And when I look out there in the NFL, there aren't many teams I believe can beat the New England Patriots, and there's not many teams I believe can match up with the Patriots. But there's an exception. There's like 2 or 3, and the Ravens are one of those teams. When you look back on the season, look at last year. This is the same game that happened in the playoffs last year, and Baltimore is this close to beating the Patriots. They actually beat the Patriots early on this year before all the injuries, their defense, but a lot of guys are getting more healthy. Guys are getting back in there. They're fresh, and I believe they can. They're the team, the only team I believe in this playoff that can beat the New England Patriots. I don't think any other team in the playoff can beat the New England Patriots. If they play the Broncos, if they advanced and beat the Ravens, I believe they could beat the Broncos, go into the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl. But I think the only team, maybe the 49ers, maybe again. I know that the 49ers are going to beat them, but that'd be a tough game to watch. But either the 49ers or the Ravens are the only 2 teams I believe that can match up and beat the Patriots. So I'm going Ravens 34, New England 31 in a very close game. But like I said, only team I believe that can beat the Patriots with all the confidence in the world is the Ravens. And moving on, you have the 4 seed Ravens at the Denver Broncos for the AFC Championship game. Be a heck of a game to watch. But when it comes down to it, Joe Flacco versus Peyton Manning, 2 pretty good quarterbacks, but Joe Flacco still hasn't proven to me that he can make a Super Bowl, that he can be lights out in the playoffs, and I think Denver's defense will be able to stop him. Peyton Manning isn't going to get stopped. He's not going to get stopped by the Ravens. That may be the case with New England, but Denver actually has running backs that can run the ball downhill. Not saying the Patriots don't. They traditionally aren't, but I don't think they can run the ball at will. That's talking about the Patriots. The Patriots can run the ball at times, but not at will. They'll have certain sparks where they can run the ball very effectively, but that's not all the time. And I think Broncos just match up better against the Ravens, so I'm going Broncos 28, Ravens 24. That brings us to the Super Bowl. Epic clashdown. Epic clashdown. Oh my. Epic matchup between the Denver Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers. A great game to watch. 2 similar teams. 2 teams that can run the ball quite well and play good defense. And out of the 2, I know I always said the thing about picking defense, and I think out of these 2 teams, the 49ers definitely have the better defense. But man, Peyton Manning against Colin Kaepernick, one of the all-time greats. First year starter, well, first time starting. He's not his second year, but first year starting. You got to pick Peyton Manning. I mean, like I said, defense I believe wins games to a point, but that's that rule is an exception when you're playing against the best quarterback of all time, or arguably the best quarterback of all time. I mean, defense can keep you into it to a point, but that quarterback differential is just too much. So I'm going Denver Broncos to beat the 49ers 24-21. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this playoff prediction bracket thing. So have a great day, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be making separate videos for all these games and recaps for all the games. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And I'm actually going to be making my wild card prediction videos in just a second. I mean, I know I already predicted them, but I'm doing separate ones for that. So thank you guys for watching. See you later. As always, roll Tide, go Sox, and go Titans to you. Have a great day, and hope you're enjoying your holidays. Be safe.